Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I can't believe it's been over 2 months since I last posted my YouTube video and shared a manga haul, but I'm very excited to be back and to show you guys all of the new volumes that I recently bought. Actually, Books A Million recently did a buy one get one 50% off sale, and I thought it was a really good deal and perfect time to catch up on all of the series I've been collecting as well as new series I've been eyeing out for a while. I also have a couple of volumes that was gifted to me by Yen Press and a giveaway that I actually won, so I can't wait to talk about those series as well. So without further ado, let's jump into the haul. To start off, I'm going to show you guys all of the new series that I picked up that I'm adding to my collection for the very first time. We have a whole bunch of titles, so let's start with our first one. So this first series I'm going to share with you is by the popular mangaka Juliet Suzuki, who's well known for the series Kami-sama Kiss, which is one I hold near and dear to my heart. And I'm starting off with this series because this story really speaks to me. The main protagonist is truly relatable, and I have a lot of series where I feel like I can relate to in a sense, but this story, I feel like I'm being called out. So the series starts with our main protagonist, Hina Alucard, a vampire who's a shut-in and hasn't left her home in 30 years. One day, Hina's father gives her a DVD of a show called Vampire Cross, and Hina is instantly obsessed, especially with a character named Mao, and this ultimately leads Hina from moving her home in Romania to Japan to live her otaku dream. Hina begins her journey of collecting all the Mao merch to her heart content. She even goes to cafe for merch purposes and has friends to go with her because she's a vampire that only drinks blood bags, so to make it not obvious, she has her friend eat the regular themed food. But one day, Hina bumps into her neighbor, Kyota, who is a doppelganger of her favorite character, Mao, and this begins the start of an unlikely friendship. As you can see, there is a lot going on, and what I love about the series so far is the different aspects that showcase that we have a little bit of comedy, supernatural, fantasy elements that just gives me the vibes that checks all of the boxes that I like to see in a manga. I'm going to show you guys a panel that as someone who collects a lot of merch for a particular character, this is literally me, and if you watch my merch haul, you would know. This is a series I am looking forward to continuing reading and collecting, and if you're interested, I'm definitely recommending it because it has such a strong start. The characters are great, and I'm excited to see how the story moves along, so please check out Otaku Love Bite. Moving on, we have our next series here called Let's Do It Already. I actually read this story in completion thanks to the fan scans a while back, and I really enjoyed it. Absolutely loved it. The series was hilarious, but slightly mildly frustrating at times. We follow our main leads, Yuri and Keiichiro, who in a unique fashion are already dating at the start of the story. But the main conflict of the series is that Keiichiro is from an elite political family producing a line of prime minister. They have a set of rules that needs to be followed, and that includes one that does not allow male descendants to engage in sexual relations until they're 18. However, Yuri is a physically affectionate girl, and Keiichiro, being the rule-abiding boy he is, can they overcome the challenges and differences while maintaining their relationship? I guess we'll have to see. But to be spoiler-free, I love the personality differences that the main lead showcases and how they deal with the relationship, and I do like the kind of conflict that they're facing. And again, it's great that they're already in a relationship, which off the bat is not a very common plot line to start a story, but both are still really new to the relationship, so you definitely see a lot of growth and how they interact with each other when challenges arises. I'm so happy that this series finally has a physical print, and I'm looking forward to collecting the rest of the series. The next series we have here is written by another well-known mangaka, Karuho Shina, who wrote the popular shoujo series Kimi ni Todoke, which is another series I hold near and dear to my heart. But what's different about this story compared to like the other previous series I talked about is this one is actually a short spin-off of the original Kimi ni Todoke story with 3 volumes, which I do have all here as well. The story takes place when Saku is in college, and where we left off from the original work, Kurumi and Saku have reconciled and become good friends. The spin-off itself focuses more on Kurumi's story and her romance line. She encounters a guy named Eiji, who is also Saku's cousin, and also from another series written by the mangaka herself, Crazy for You. They both bond because they have an unrequited love from their respective original storyline, which leads them to get closer, but it may not be as easy as it seems. I've only read a couple chapters for the spin-off, but I'm excited to see where all of the original characters that I love from the OG story are at, and maybe get a better perspective of Kurumi as a main character. I felt mostly neutral about her for the most part at the end of the original story, so we'll see how this goes. But this is the Kimi ni Todoke Soulmates, and I'm glad I have the whole entire series in completion. You guys, when I heard this series was getting a reprint, I literally could not believe it. I was so shocked. And the reason why is because this series actually had an initial physical print by Viz Media in English many years ago, but then it went out of print. And then for the longest time, resale prices for the single volumes was astronomically high and expensive that it wasn't worth justifying collecting it in the secondhand market. But here we are today with the Omnibus 3-in-1 volumes for Red River. This is my childhood manga series. I remember reading it at my local library when I was younger, and it's just so crazy that I get to finally own this volume after so long. But to make this even better, I actually won this copy for free. There was a giveaway on Twitter by the page Weekly Shogakukan Edition. They had like this easy retweet and follow post, and I managed to win a free copy of the first volume, which is absolutely insane. I was gonna buy it anyways. It was on my high priority to buy list, but it just felt better to win it for free. And you know, if you save a couple dollars, you can just definitely invest it in another series. So I'm having a really great experience with collecting Red River so far. So yeah, this series is one of my first isekai-esque series, even before I knew the genre itself. Red River is about a 15-year-old Japanese girl named Yuri who's pulled into Hattusa, the capital of the Hittite Empire in Anatolia. She was summoned by Queen Nakia, who plans to use Yuri as a human sacrifice, as her blood is the key element in needing to place a curse upon the princes of the land so that they would perish, leaving Nakia's son Prince Judah as the sole heir to the throne. Yuri meets Prince Kale, third prince in line to the throne, who becomes an ally and interested in Yuri and helps her escape Nakia's scheming. And she also, along the story, becomes a revered as an incarnation of the goddess Ishtar by the people there as well. So this series has a jam-packed adventure, drama, and romance that'll take you for a wild ride. It is a series that's a little bit on the older side, as it came out in the mid-90s with some minor tropes that may be outdated and not as receptive for, today's setting. But the series and characters are so good in my opinion, and the art is beautiful. Again, I am really happy for this reprint, and I can't wait for the day that I can own this whole entire series. The next tale we have here is yet written by another popular mangaka, Arugo Rei, who wrote the series Perfect World, which is one I own in my collection. So if you haven't checked that out yet, please do. But she recently came out with a new series called Sheltering Eaves, and I've been so curious to find out what the plot is and read the story. Usually to get to know a story, I would read the fan scans for a new series that hasn't been officially licensed in English, but no team ever picked up the series. And so the only thing I knew about the series was the synopsis and some panels that the mangaka has shared on Twitter. But I've been really interested in the story, so I was really happy when Kodansha announced the official English license last year and the physical print of the series as well. So the story starts off with our protagonist, young Yoru, who's sent to a group home at the age of 10 after she is abused and neglected by her mother. She meets Tenjaku, a boy the same age who entered the group home a couple years earlier, but they bond when Tenjaku saves her from being picked on and also retrieves a precious memento for Yoru when their group home catches on fire. We then get a time skip when Yoru and Tenjaku have 1 year left before they're legally required to leave the group home and prepare for their future. Tenjaku is working a lot to be able to afford to live outside of the group home. However, Yoru is unsure what she wants to do in the future. The end of the first volume, we're faced with a major cliffhanger, and I'm so curious to see what will happen next. But so far, I really enjoy getting to know our main lead stories and the overall group home system. It had a promising start, and I can't wait to read on and collect the future volumes. But that is Sheltering Eaves, Volume 1. And here we have is another anticipated manga I've been waiting to physically collect for a really long time, so thank you 7Cs. The art for this series is absolutely gorgeous and I adore all of the characters in the story. We follow our main lead, Aoi, who does not consider herself as a main character by any means. She is shy and prefers to be alone, unlike her popular and athletic older brother, Itsuki, or her mother, a famous shoujo mangaka. Aoi doesn't want to be the heroine, but does want to fit in and make some friends at school. But Itsuki in particular, along with Aoi's cool classmate Sena, who's also in the basketball team, has another idea and creates a plan to teach Aoi all about love using shoujo manga written by her mom, of course, as their guide. One thing I really like about the story is how involved her family is in the series. And what I mean is her brother goes to the same school and he interacts with her on a daily basis, along with her mom, who's at home and makes a lot of appearances. So it does feel really nice to see that incorporation of a family dynamic, which I feel like is sometimes lacking in a lot of series that I read. There's so many cool things about this series that I can talk about, but yeah, I'm just super happy to finally add this series into my collection, and I can't wait to collect and read more of this series. So that is Diary of a Female Lead, Shujinkou Nikki, Volume 1. And lastly, in terms of new titles I'm adding to my collection, this series is actually one I talked about on my channel before, and that's mainly because I collected the Blu-ray disc for the anime adaptation, and now I'm collecting the physical manga print. Before I go into the details of the story itself, I'll talk about why it took me so long to collect the manga print for the series. So as you can see here, this is Yamada-kun, and I love the series a lot. I talked about how much I adore it when I collected the Blu-ray, but the main reason why I put off collecting the manga so long was actually the English print covers. I just didn't really like the font and the placement of the title on the cover. I don't know, it's kind of a very weird thing that I was fixated on, but I know a lot of people shared the same sentiments. So I was in a dilemma for the longest on whether to collect the English print or just switch to Japanese overall. But then I ultimately, as you can see, ended up buying the English copy just so I can kind of read it. I would love to collect the Japanese, but I'm still learning it, and so I don't know when I'll be able to sufficiently read Japanese. Hopefully one day for sure, but for now, I think the English copy is good, and I'm still very happy to own the manga of Yamada-kun. But to give you guys a brief synopsis of the story, we follow Akane, who is a college student, and she finds out that her ex-boyfriend has fallen in love with another girl, which leads to their breakup at the start of the story. She ends up starting a game called Force of Savior and ends up attending an in-person event for the game. However, she encounters Yamada, a gaming legend, and then asks him to be her pretend boyfriend when she encounters her ex-boyfriend at the event. And then later on, she finds out that Yamada is also a player she had met in Force of Savior, and they become guildmates. So one recent news I'm super happy to share for Yamada-kun is that the mangaka was actually in a hiatus for health issues a couple months ago, but recently has come back, and so we're getting updates for the manga again, and I'm really glad the mangaka is getting better. The relationship between Akane and Yamada just keeps getting better and better as the story progresses, and the art has improved so much. Looking at these older volumes and compared to like the newest chapter updates I recently read, you can see such a dramatic shift. But yeah, also volume 10 just came out in Japan, and I was gushing at the cover for the longest. I'll post a picture of it on the screen, but wow, I just cannot wait for the rest of the volumes to come out in English so I can own all of them. Moving on, the next part of this haul is going to be volumes from series I am currently collecting and that I've mentioned in my previous unboxing. So I'll mainly talk about general updates and my thoughts on current arcs for each of the different series. To start off, we have 2 new volumes for Spy Family, volumes 11 and 12. On the cover of volume 11, we have Damien's friend, Emil and Ewan on the cover, and for volume 12, we have Handler. So super happy to have these 2 new volumes. And in terms of latest announcements or news, one is that we got confirmation for season 3. So a couple of months ago, there was a promotional teaser visual that came out with Anya on it, and it looks so cute. But yeah, I believe we should be getting more updates on season 3 and details for it at the Jump Festa event in December, so I'm looking forward to that. I feel like the anime has been very solid with Studio, and Cloverworks has done a really good job with the adaptation, and I can't wait to see what season 3 will cover in terms of the arcs from the manga itself. And also, in terms of manga, we recently got an actual announcement that Endo, the mangaka of Spy Family, is taking a 1-month break. So I've been reading the Spy Family chapters as it's released, as it's officially simulpub by the Manga Plus app. So chapter 108 will be coming out on December 23rd, but it is one of the longest Spy Family hiatus. Hopefully the mangaka is healthy and just taking some break or looking for inspiration. There wasn't really much detail, but nonetheless, I'm looking forward for the next chapter and can't wait to continue reading the story. But yeah, that is Spy Family volumes 11 and 12. The next series we have here is Like a Butterfly by Shu Morishita, the duo. They've written series such as Shortcake Cake, and their latest ongoing series is A Sign of Affection. But Like a Butterfly is a series they've written much earlier and has been completed, but Viz made an announcement, I think earlier last year or maybe the year before, of the official licensing of Like a Butterfly, so I was super excited to collect the series. I read this once a while back and I felt like I really liked it, but I haven't reread the series ever since, so I'm mainly collecting the volumes for nostalgic purposes, and we'll do a reread of it once I collect all the volumes. I can't remember how many volumes this series has, but probably around the 10s or something like that. So yeah, in terms of the storyline, I don't remember too much of the plot. I just remember the 2 main leads kind of being shy with each other, but I might be completely wrong. But anyways, I can't wait to collect the rest of the volumes for this series and then do my reread. So as you can see here, I do have 4 new volumes for Like a Butterfly, 4, 5, 6, and 7. The covers are all so pretty, and yeah, I can't wait to just sit down and crack all the volumes up once I have them. But yeah, that is Like a Butterfly by Shu Morishita, and I'm so excited to have these new volumes in my collection. So next up we have is 2 new volumes for the series, Sakura Saku by the mangaka Io Sakusaka, who is known for her popular shoujo series such as Art Hard Ride and Strobe Edge. But this is her most recent work that's also completed with 9 volumes. So with these 2 volumes here, we're almost halfway there. As you can see, her art is very distinctive, and that's what I love about Io Sakusaka's manga, is that I really like her art. And in terms of the storyline for Sakura Saku, so far for the first 2 volumes that I read, seems very promising in terms of like the main leads and their dynamic with each other, but I do smell an impending love triangle. I probably love square, in fact, which is kind of predictable when it comes to Io Sakusako's work, but nonetheless, I look forward for these next 2 volumes. It's been a while since I've talked about Queen's Quality on my channel, but here we have is volume 20, and I actually am missing volumes 18 and 19. For some reason, Books A Million never puts Queen's Quality on sale, so I was trying to kind of look at my tracker, and I saw that volumes 20 and 21 were part of the buy one get one free sale, but not the other 2 volumes. So I'm gonna have to buy those sometime in the future, but I want to buy the volumes, at a discounted price. That's just me trying to save a couple of coins here and there. But yeah, I'm super stoked to have this latest volume of Queen's Quality. I really just love the allure of the story and all of the action scenes, and honestly, it's probably one of the most intense arc I've read in a while, but yeah, I heard it's going to be ending soon, and I'm not ready for that. But until then, I'm going to enjoy the ride and keep loving Queen's Quality, so I'm really happy to have this newest volume. Next series we have here is Snow White with the Red Hair, volume 26, and on the cover, as you can see, we have Shirayuki and Zen, and I love them so much. They're my favorite couple in terms of like ongoing shoujo series, so I adore them so much. But yeah, I'm very happy to have this latest volume. I am a little bit behind in terms of my reading for this series. I believe the mangaka was on hiatus for a little bit, and so I kind of just stopped catching up with the story, but I believe the series is actually updating normally again, but it is still like kind of a more infrequent update, so I don't know, I think I need some more chapters to let piled on before I like maybe reread or just continue where I left off. But yeah, super happy to have this latest volume of Snow White with the Red Hair. And here we have is Wolf Girl and Black Prince. I actually have a couple volumes for this series because it's been a while since I have bought the volumes, but I have 6, 7, 8, and 9, so a total of 4 volumes. And this is a series I read a while back, and this is actually a completed series, but was officially licensed by Viz much later, and so I'm looking forward to collecting the rest of the volumes for this series. I believe there's a total of 16 volumes, so we're actually halfway there at this point. I know a lot of people have mixed feelings about this story, but I don't know, in my opinion, I think it's good, but I won't go into much detail of it because I might sound like a broken record at this point, and I feel like I always say this same spiel each time I talk about Wolf Girl and Black Prince. Anyways, on the cover of each volume that I'm showing you guys, it features the male lead, Koyoya, and on the back cover of each volume features our female lead, Erika, and I just really love her outfits on each of the back covers. It's really cute. But yeah, I'm excited to have these 4 new volumes for Wolf Girl and Black Prince, and I'm looking forward to collecting the rest of the volume as it comes out. The next series we have here is, of course, Yona of the Dawn. I have 2 volumes, volumes 41 and 42. So on the cover of 41, we have Yona, and she looks incredible on this cover. It looks beautiful. And for volume 42, it actually features our 4 dragons. So on the cover front, we have Jeha and Kija, and on the back cover, we have Shina and Zeno. So it just looks so good. These 2 covers are just fantastic. Anyways, in terms of like major updates for the series, Kusanagi sensei has mentioned that we're on the final arc of this series, but in terms of like the length of the final arc, I think it's TBD because they're still in the main conflict of the series, and so I don't see it ending in a while. So I think there's still a lot of content that needs to be covered, but I am excited to see how the story will pan out and how it'll conclude. But until now, we'll enjoy the ride. The next series we have here is Kakuriyo Bed and Breakfast for Spirits Volume 9, but I'm not actually going to be talking about the manga. I'm going to be talking about the anime because a couple months ago, we got confirmation of a season 2 for the series, which is so crazy because I actually watched season 1 when it aired back in 2018, so 6 years later, we're getting season 2. I believe season 2 isn't actually coming out until late 2025, which is still a while for now, but nonetheless, it's so crazy that after such a long break, we're actually getting a season 2. Anyways, I actually bought the manga because I was curious about the content after season 1, but I actually haven't had a chance to read it just yet. So now that I have season 2, I'm definitely going to be watching it, but I will need to spend some time later on reading the manga as well. But yeah, very exciting news. Next up we have is Akane-banashi, and I actually have quite a lot of volumes for this series. I think 4 in total. We have volumes 5, 6, 7, and 8. So yeah, I've been a little bit behind in collecting the series, or I feel like the volumes for the series come out much faster compared to like other series I'm collecting under the Viz line. But yeah, this is a series I've been thoroughly enjoying every single week. This series is published under the Weekly Shonen Jump magazine, so every Sunday a new chapter comes out, and it is simulpub on the Manga Plus app, so I am reading it on a weekly basis. This one and Blue Box I'm reading together every week, but I'm just not committed to collecting the physical print of Blue Box because there's just so many volumes for it. So maybe in the future if it has a good ending. But yeah, Akane-banashi is just a spectacular series. I'm a big fan of Rakugo, and so I just love seeing the performances and all of the characters, and honestly the art is just, it goes so hard. And the recent arc that I just read was so incredible, and yeah, I'm just super excited to collect this series, and I can't wait for the next volumes to come out because I'll definitely be adding those to my collection as well. The next series we have here is I Want to End This Love Game, and we have 2 volumes, 2 and 3. And I just love the aesthetic for these 2 covers next to each other. We have volume 2 with Miku, and on her phone she has Yukaya on the screen, but it's like this like flowery field cover. And then for volume 3, it's like this rainy scene of them together. I don't know, the green and blue just really complements each other. But anyways, in terms of like updates for this series actually has been on hiatus for a little bit due to the mangaka's health issue. I think the latest update we got was that the mangaka had a breakthrough on their health and it is getting better, but there was no potential date of when the next chapter will come out. So it'll be a while, I think, until we get chapter 53. But I do really hope that the mangaka will get better, and I hope their health improves. But I really enjoyed the series so much. I love the whole concept of the series, and yeah, it just gives me butterflies when I see them together. But yeah, that is I Want to End This Love Game. The next volume we have here is How I Met My Soulmate Volume 4. I recently talked about this in my previous manga haul, so I don't really have too many updates, but yeah, very glad to have this next installment. My favorite draws for the series is one, it's in a college setting or like more adult setting type series, so I feel a little bit more closer in age with the characters, and two, the art for the series is fantastic. I love it so much. Anna Shin goes hard on the series, which I think all the characters in the series is so attractive. But yeah, I'm super excited to have this newest volume, and I can't wait to read it. Another series we have here is A Sign of Affection, Volume 10, and the cover for the series is so beautiful. Like, Itsubi and Yuki, they look so good together, and this back cover of them, oh my gosh, that back hug is so cute. I love the red aesthetic color for this volume. It's so pretty. And of course we have our color page, and it looks so fun with the bubbles. Oh my gosh, they are so cute. But yeah, nothing too much of like recent news about this series. But I do love Itsumi with his black hair. It goes kind of hard. But anyways, very happy to have this new volume, and I can't wait to read it. Apologies up front because I'm going to be gushing on the volume covers again, but I feel rightfully so because In the Clear, Moonlit, Dusk, volume 6 and 7 covers look so good. Like the color greens, they pop off so much, and then the poses of each volume, I don't know, it just feels like two puzzle pieces that really fit and mesh well together. I am a big fan of these two volume covers. But yeah, it's been a while since I have collected volumes for this series. I'm actually quite behind in reading the volumes. I think I'm only on volume 4 or so. So yeah, I haven't been really catching up on the latest release, but after these two volumes, I'll definitely read it during the holidays when I have some more free time. But oh my gosh, this color page looks so good with them eating breakfast food. That's my favorite combo. But yeah, I love Yui. She's so cool. She's considered to be like the prince of her school, and then she meets Ichimura, who's also known to be the prince, and I really like their dynamic together. But yeah, I'm happy to have these two new volumes of In the Clear, Moonlit, Dusk. Moving on, we have a new volume for the series Honey Lemon Soda. This is volume 5, and I don't know if I'm like still behind in collecting the series, but I've been just slowly making my way whenever I see a volume that's in stock. But yeah, I adore the series a lot. It's very cute, but there is quite a lot of like heavy drama with the main leads and their friend group, but I feel like it's very enjoyable. And in terms of like recent announcements, very excited to see the anime adaptation for this series from the trailers and visuals that's been shared for the story. It's been very promising, and it comes out next year, so I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, I need to make sure that I'm on track with collecting the manga volumes as well. Next we have is volume 15 of Monthly Girls Nozaki-kun, and oh my gosh, look at how cute this volume cover is. We have Nozaki sewing all of the plushies of each of the characters in this series. Actually, I think a couple of volumes back, he like created this like Sakura plushie where like her hair bows like actually twisted around, which I thought was super funny. But seeing this cover kind of like reminded me of that particular chapter, and it was so iconic. Like I would buy that in a heartbeat, like a Sakura plushie with like movable ears. That would be so cute. But anyways, Nozaki-kun is a very lighthearted series, and it's not really like a series that has like too much drama or plot with it. It's just kind of like a very short slice of life. The chapters itself are pretty tame, so yeah, I'm very happy to have this volume. So this next series we have here, we actually have 2 volumes, 4 and 5 for the series Reincarnated, which spells doom. This is written by Teo Yuzuhara and illustrated by Sora. And if you guys haven't heard about Sora, I've actually talked about this mangaka a lot because they wrote my favorite manga of all time, which is Suraku JK to Hajin Kyoshi, which just ended recently. But when I saw that Sora had another series that they're working on, I knew I had to pick it up. And this is actually their first fantasy-esque series, which I believe they've done a really good job. The illustrations for the series is just so beautiful. Like some of the panels and scenes that are drawn for the story is very breathtaking, and I'll show you guys more of it in volume 5 because there's quite a lot of those. But yeah, it's kind of an isekai series where the main protagonist in the modern day gets hit by like a truck, and then she gets isekai in this like fantasy land, and then she later meets the prince, and then they go on this like journey together, and there's like 4 dragons, and also has a political aspect as well. But yeah, I am very happy to have these latest 2 volumes for a Reincarnated, which spells doom. The next volume we have here is My Stray Cat and Wolf Volume 3. I don't have too much to say about this particular series, but I am very curious to see how this volume will develop the main lead's relationship. I know there's quite a lot of on the line between the 2 leads right now, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. If you guys don't know, this is an age gap story, so I know people have some mixed opinions on it, but I, for one, am kind of enjoying the series a lot. Oh well, it's a kind of a guilty pleasure, right? So it is what it is. But yeah, I am very excited to read My Stray Cat and Wolf Volume 3. Here we have is Volume 6 of No Longer Heroine. And yeah, I am collecting the series for nostalgic purposes because I have read the series a long time ago through fan scans, and so when I did hear the official license and physical print of the series, I decided to collect it, but I have not reread the series in a hot minute. Like, I've only read the series maybe 1.5 times, and as much as it is frustrating to read this story, which there is quite a lot of like romantic drama, I don't know, I just have a guilty pleasure reading the story, so maybe I'll regret it, but maybe I won't. But I'm looking forward to collecting the rest of the series. And last but not least, we have the final volume that I bought, and this is Apothecary Diaries Volume 12, and Mao Mao looks stunning in this blue dress. I love the color blue, so this one is right up my alley. But yeah, I've been just really enjoying reading the manga so much. I have been eyeing out the light novel for Apothecary Diaries as well, but I just haven't had the chance to get it yet. But that is on my to buy list on high priority, so hopefully next year I can start reading the novel adaptation of Apothecary Diaries, which is technically, I guess, the original source of the series. But oh my gosh, there are so many frog references in this volume, because if you know, you know, if you read this already. Oh my gosh, I'm so shook. But anyways, I'm really excited for season 2 to come out, which will be airing in January. So starting off 2025, very, very strong. But yeah, I enjoyed the anime adaptation so much, so I can't wait to watch it and have a good time. But yeah, this is volume 12 of the Apothecary Diaries, and I am super happy to have this volume. To wrap up this haul, I'm going to show you guys all of the new releases that Yen Press and Eyes Press kindly sent over to me. It's a little bit overdue because I haven't been able to open the packages for a while, but I'm really excited to share with you guys all of these new titles. As someone with a limited reading log, I really appreciate getting these new books from Yen Press and Eyes Press, because this kind of forces me to try out new series that I personally probably wouldn't ever pick up, but I always feel very grateful because sometimes I do end up finding a series I really like and then adding it to my collection. So I'm very excited to share you guys all of the new releases that I got. The first title we have here is I'll Become a Villainess Who Goes Down in History. So for this particular package I got from Eyes Press and Yen Press, this is probably the package with the most villainous type stories I have ever gotten, and that's really cool because I do love the villainous trope. So yeah, very interesting cover, very pretty. It's the back. We have a very pretty color page as well. Just gonna do a quick flip through. But yeah, that is the first volume we have. Next one we have is The Small Animal-Like Lady is Adored by the Ice Prince. Again, gorgeous cover. I love the background. Color page. Another like historical era setting as well. Starting to see a pattern with all of the books that I've gotten so far. Looks very promising. So the next series we have here is actually one I previously mentioned that I have already read, and it is The Guy She Was Interested In Wasn't a Guy at All. And I don't know if you guys can notice from the cover, but it is very green, and a lot of people did dub this name as like Green Yuri, and I'll talk a little bit more about the premise in a little bit. But this series started off on the mangaka's Twitter and then eventually moved to official platforms. But the kind of way that the story was designed was the updates for each chapter for the series was quite short, like a couple pages or so, just that fit the Twitter format. And ultimately it was kind of modified to be more of a physical print friendly series, and so I am very curious to see how it looks like because I haven't even seen like the Japanese volumes as well, so I'm very curious to see how this one will turn out. But yeah, as I mentioned, the green color just looks so good, and on the cover of this volume we have our main leads. Aya is the girl on the right and Mitsuki on the left. And so the premise of this story is that Aya has been going to this record store because she's really interested in listening to this type of music. It's like probably rock music. And at this store, she's also very attracted to the person at the counter, which she thinks is a guy. But lo and behold, we find out that the person on the counter is actually a classmate of Aya who actually sits right next to her in the class as well, and that is Mitsuki. But obviously Aya has no idea that the guy on the counter is a girl, and I won't go into more details other than that, but I really like kind of the build-up of the revelation, and yeah, all the characters are so cool. And as you can see as I'm flipping through this volume, manga is usually colored in like black and white, and there hardly is ever any color except for maybe the first couple pages being like color pages. But as you can see, the accent of the green is such a nice touch. It makes it so visually appealing as well. And so I just think it looks very attractive, and I think it's makes the series stand out because of the green color, and obviously the art for the series is so good as well. All the characters look so fashionable, and yeah, I am obsessed with this series. And based on my initial flip through of this volume 1, I really like it a lot. Oh my gosh, all of these bonus extras as well of our main characters, they look so cool. But yeah, I'm very happy to have this volume, and I think this turned out really nice, and I am super excited to collect the continuing volumes for this series as well. The next story we have here is another villainous title. So this is When the Villainess Seduces the Main Heroine, and this story is actually wrapped, so I guess it's more of a mature series. And then we have our next villainous title back to back as well. This is Beware the Villainess, and I actually have heard about this story a lot when I started picking up like Korean manhwa and reading it more often, but I just never had the chance to sit down and dive into the story. So now that I have the physical print, I have no excuse not to check it out. But yeah, it looks really interesting. The main character is very pretty, and I like the art style as well. I believe the main character in the series is Melissa, but wow, this man is super handsome. It looks super chaotic. Oh my gosh. And oh my gosh, we have a little chibi of Melissa here. Oh my gosh, so cute. The next series we have here is the Three Body Problem, the comic edition. So I have heard of this title before because I believe there's like a drama adaptation for the series as well. I've seen it on Netflix a couple of times, but I personally haven't read the novel, I believe, and watched the drama, so I don't really know too much about the story, but very interesting that we got a comic edition for the series. It looks pretty dark and intense from this initial flip through, but yeah, I'm very intrigued to see how the story will turn out. And the last volume we have here is SS Class Revival Hunter, another Eyes Press title. And this one actually is a very large book, quite heavy. Super cool. I'm just gonna do a quick flip through. Ooh. The male protagonist looks very good looking. And that is it. So that is all of the new releases under the Yen Press and Eyes Press in print. And because I did unbox this a little bit late, I believe all of the titles I've mentioned are available for order at your favorite book retailer. So if there was any that piqued your interest, feel free to check them out. But yeah, big shout out again to Yen Press for kindly sending me all of these new releases. For the titles that I haven't checked out or haven't read yet, I will be posting a review of each of the series during my free time on IG story if you're interested in hearing my thoughts. But yeah, that wraps up our manga haul for today. I hope you guys enjoy, and let's move on to the outro. Here is an overview of all the new volumes that I picked up for this haul. It's been a while since I've done a major manga shopping spree, so it felt really nice to catch up on current series that I'm collecting, as well as pick up some new releases that I've been eyeing out for a really long time. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy listening to me share my thoughts on all of these series that I picked up for this video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Until then, take care. Bye.